We rejoin Muzahi and Rufus in the House of Cards on the Radiant Citadel in the deep, ethereal plain. After finding a deck of many things that teleported the companions to the House of Cards, the necromancer bets with his life and agrees to gamble on the cards of fate before drawing from the deck of many things. Riffler provides Muzahi with paperwork and badges marking themselves as for hire in the Citadel. He also hires a guide named Hendo to show the companions around the most amazing place in the multi-universe. Riffler disappears and the rest of the group sets off on a quest from the cards of fate. Hendo explains that he is a priest from the House of Convalescence. You see that the Radiant Citadel is indeed a marvel as you're toured around. Hendo guides the PCs around the main sites and down the trade discal. Eventually, the group approaches three smaller buildings that appear to be mushroom wholesalers. A restaurant and a tea shop in the middle building is on an upper balcony. Several men out front of the shops push a very well-dressed kobold onto the ground. They are yelling something at the small creature, and Hendo immediately strides over and stops the men, saying, "Enough!" This command seems to carry some magic behind it, as the men cease their assault immediately. The kobold stands and brushes himself off. Muzahi notices a small card of fate floating just above the kobold's head. The stairway card. It winks out as quickly as it appeared. One of the men seems to snap out of whatever magic Hendo casts and points his finger at the kobold. "Your family legacy will be ruined, you trickster," he yells. "Your production is up, but your costs are not down. Worst, your crazy brother has cut the potency of your products by 1/4. I'll file a complaint with the trade discal. You and your family will be banned from doing business in the Citadel again." The three men trudge off angrily. The kobold turns to you and says, "Thank you, good sirs. My name is Alexander, and I see that you are available for hire. I wonder if I may procure your services to help me restore my good name and my family business. Please come in for some tea and cakes. I will explain everything." Hendo also comes in, saying that injustice such as this needs to be made right. All things in the Citadel matter. Alexander leads you through the ground floor of a busy mushroom commodity sale area, up a flight of steps to a beautiful restaurant. He finds a table that is somewhat private as tea and cakes are provided. After a few sips of tea, the kobold leans forward and says in a low voice, "It all started so innocently, nearly 1 year ago. On a small, dead, windswept moon in the deep ethereal called Genosi, my family has harvested mushrooms for over 800 years. As our farming techniques improved over time and our race figured out how to use the Concord jewel on Genosi, we suddenly had a large customer base from the multiverse planes. Each of the 7 prominent families laid claim to one of the underground groves around the small moon. Access to our family grove is down a long spiral stairway built over 700 years ago. The landing area of our Concord jewel is now built up into a trade warehouse city called Tankersby. The jewel to the Radiant Citadel is our trade lifeline. My family is one of the poorest on Genosi, and our groves have always been plagued with rot. Over a year ago, my brother Zachary hired some consultants to help with our production. They experimented with many concoctions, and the substances killed many of our workers after application to the crops. I was devastated. My brother changed then. He declared that this was the cost of doing business. Can you believe that? Our production did triple over time. I had to leave Genosi for the Citadel 4 months ago. I have recent news that nearly all of our workers have died. My brother and his consultants have secreted themselves away in a massive mushroom. He asks the PCs to accompany him to Genoese and help him get to the bottom of this travesty. I'm afraid it may be too late to save our business, but the death and deceptions must end now. The PCs agree to help Alexander, and Muzahi knows this is the cards of fate laying out his agreed upon quest. The four of them head to the passes of Respite and the Concord Jewel that will bring them to Genoese. Eventually, Alexander gets Genoese's Concord Jewel to dock at the Passage of Respite. The PCs follow Alexander into the strange ship and it moves off the Radiant Citadel, through the deep ethereal plane towards Genoese. The group lands on Genoese and Alexander arranges a sail ship from the city of Tancardy that skims over the moon's smooth surface to his family's estate. The group makes their way to a lone building on the moon's surface, a long way from the small warehouse city of Tancardy. Alexander moves into the building and is shocked there are no guards at the top of a spiral staircase descending deep into the moon's underdark. Nearly 60 minutes later, the group reaches the grove and an overwhelming smell of vegetable rot assaults the PCs. Far in the distance, a very large mushroom can be seen that has grown through several buildings. Muzahi sees another card of fate near the large mushroom. The tree card. Oh, by the gods, says Alexander. What has happened since I've been at the Citadel? The group slowly make their way through the grove towards the mushroom tower. They pass a massive graveyard with many fresh mounds. Alexander falls to the ground and cries out. Muzahi begins casting and many of the dead kobolds pull themselves from their fresh graves. Alexander and Hendo appear mortified. Muzahi asks the kobold if he wants his grove back or not. The kobold puts his head down and agrees that indeed he does want it back. With a large force of undead, the group moves towards the massive mushroom tower and easily overrun the guards on the ground floor. Muzahi orders the undead up the mushroom stairway into the upper levels. The PCs push into the upper levels, with Muzahi's undead horde leading the way. He catches Hendo and Alexander giving him bewildered looks as the zombies tear up the living standing in their way. As they reach the upper level, Muzahi sees the final card in the deck of Fate's quest. The Aberration card flashes above several kobolds in the top floor. Muzahi feels his green stone amulet grow warm against his skin. With his wand of lightning already in his hand, he wastes no time in blasting the aberrations to burnt husks. A mind flayer and his intellect devourer's burnt corpse are all that remains of the plot to destroy Alexander's family estate. Muzahi and Rufus slowly disappear from the mushroom tower.
Hey, I haven't even paid you. Hey, wait.
They both reappear back in the dungeon complex under the hole-in-the-wall tavern in the city of Waterdeep. Muzahi holds the deck of many things in his hand once again.
Cut it.
Nice.
Muzahi chooses the card of fate.